Hey, welcome back. I'm going to do the third video of this circuit recreation series in KiCAD. I'm going to look at the diagram on the left side of the screen at this turn signal relay. There's a spelling mistake. This black and brown wire we have seen before. We see that it's fused and it goes through fuse C, and then black and brown is just power, so that's going to just be a 12-volt power source. Our G is always just going to be ground. And our GR is actually a signal that we saw last time coming in, and I mistakenly corrected it and I edited this being just G, when in fact it's actually just a signal that comes in from our turn signal relay. So this turn signal relay allows us to have power for our turn signals that will go through the switch that we built before, and it will either go to the orange or the light blue. We know that black and brown is also another power source, so we are always going to be having power being distributed either way. And if we take a look at our front lights, we see our left turn signal have an orange and a light blue wire applied to it with a ground, and the right side is the orange, white, and the light blue wire. Now, the ones that have the signal relay attached to it are the orange and the light blue without the white stripe. So that's what we have here. However, I want to switch this bike into 2-wire signals. So I'm going to go ahead and draw up these front lights, and then I'll explain what I do to convert from this 3-wire setup into a 2-wire setup. I created those bulbs in the schematic editor. I made these two little connectors here. One of the sides sticks to ground, which we know everything needs ground. The other pin actually connects to both ends of these diodes. Now, these diodes aren't actually in the original diagram. On the orange and white, the light blue, the orange, and the light blue wires, I've put diodes so that current and voltage will only step towards the turn signals, right? So those lines cannot be used for a ground or for reverse current going back towards the signal light here. So that means that when we deliver signal voltage from the green wire, and as well as the battery voltage from the blue-brown wire, those voltages are going to only go towards the signal, and they're not going to be shorted back through this switch. So that's the purpose of the diodes in this circuit, and that will allow me to then connect the cathodes of the diodes to the positive pin of my signal lights on both sides, and they're both just mirrored circuits here. For the headlights, we just have the white, the blue, and the green wires here, and that corresponds to this white blue wire here, and then the green would just be for ground. White is the normal low beams, and that's what I have as LB, and high beams are HB here, and only one of these filaments would be on. The filaments are just going to have different brightnesses, and that's what determines your high beams or your low beams, whereas the signals just have one type of filament. I've started on the right side here with my rear lights. I'll get the wiring done now, and then I'll come back. Okay, the camera cut out for a little bit in the time lapse, but here I am with a completed rear light, the rear light circuitry. I've also added the brake light switch, so this would be the one on the right hand side pedal. The signal lights, we see the orange and the light blue tags coming up again, so these actually came all the way from the front signals, and they're all the same conductor. They go to the back and they actually activate the left and right signals at the back. Our license plate light is always on, so it receives one of those black and brown signals. We also notice that this black and brown also is going to be charging the brake lights, and that's because it has the running lights are always on. If we go back here to our fuses, that's just an always on circuit. There's no switch. The lights should just always be on, and that's I believe it's just a safety feature. In the handlebar section here, I added this signal relay, and that was just so that we understood where this green wire was coming from, the signal relay, just the signal wire. A relay is just another kind of switch. It receives power, which is this black and brown from the fuses, or ground from ground. And then the green is the signal that will be sent out once our signals are turned on. And that's pretty much it. So the light switches are pretty easy. We just did like a slight modification, adding the diode so that I could turn our 3-pin harness into a 2-pin. In the next video, I'll just do the quick modifications for the headlight harness, and that will be the last modification or repair to the smaller harnesses before I do a video where I take you to the bike and show you either like what I've done and do a few installs of these harnesses so that I can kind of start getting a layout of how the electrical is going to work on the bike. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks.